first one is women as principal caregivers, and to challenge the idea that it is the mother who is the one who should give up work if anybody needs to give up work and stay at home and look after the children. That is a stereotype I have come across time and time again, and I think it's something we need to change.
I think one of the main stereotypes is that women talk too much and they're too emotional, and that's wrong. Women say what they feel, perhaps they're more likely to say what they feel, and probably more likely to challenge truth onto power.
I'd really like to see us tackling language and moving away from the crass oversimplifications and assumptions that go with the perceptions of gender and identity.
I would like to challenge the stereotypes around men or women being suited to particular professions. I think we've come a long way, but there's still further to go.
I think there are two things. First of all, my husband, who has supported me and himself has been challenging the norm throughout the time he's been travelling around the world with me. And second, my aunt, who is a journalist in the 1960s, 70s and 80s, and more recently, Anne was very much a woman in a man's world, but never let that stand in her way.
Well, it may sound strange, but I'm going to say nature. Because when I'm feeling challenged, I think of myself as a force of nature, and I think of the mountains like the Rockies and the overwhelming forces that created those. And I'm reminded of that saying that we can move mountains when we believe in what we're doing.
Some of my greatest influences are writers who express what it is to be human and who challenge the norm, be it on gender, race, sexual identity. Writers like Maya Angelou, for example, who said amongst many great things, "I respect myself and insist upon it from everybody. And because I do it, I then respect everybody too."
When it comes to challenging the norm, the greatest influence on me has been strong role models, both female leaders and men who choose to challenge.
I think believing you can do it is really important. I think not taking no for an answer is really important. But I think fundamentally accepting that change sometimes comes in very small packets. So starting with small changes and building up is a really good way of getting big things to change.
I think the most important thing is listening and then creating teams that have a shared vision. Because when teams are highly motivated with a shared vision, they can do anything.
Be prepared to challenge stereotypes, challenge behaviour, but lead by example and live by the mantra of treating others as you would like to be treated.
To enact change at work, being self-aware about one's own bias is really important, so is listening to others. And at home, I try to encourage my daughter that she can be whatever she wants to be.
For me, gender bias is most obvious in language, and I have a personal campaign to fight against gender stereotypical language. So a woman might be described as bossy, overbearing and aggressive, and a man demonstrating the same behaviours would be described as ambitious, risk-taking and decisive. So I think language is a really important point in gender bias.
Gender bias can be really obvious in what someone says, but it can be very subtle in body language. So I think it's incumbent on all of us to be aware of conscious and unconscious bias and the way we act and the things that we say.
For me, gender bias exists mainly in language. Characteristics that are positives in men are seen as negatives in women. So men are assertive, women are bossy. Women are often asked how they achieve a work-life balance, men are very rarely asked.
When I go to represent the UK government at an official or a business event, and I'm one of the few women in the room, that's what gender bias looks like to me.
It's really important to join with other people, find groups, find networks, to amplify your voice, because a choir is louder than one person singing on their own. But also understand that if you say something and people don't hear you the first time, keep saying it louder and louder until somebody does listen.
I'd say two things. Join a group and be part of a shared voice and gain support from that. And secondly, be aware of and stand on the shoulders of those that have gone before you and fought the battles on your behalf.
I'd say find a mentor who has found their voice. Those of us who have worked our way through organisations are happy to give back and share experiences. If you're struggling to find your voice, learn from others around you and seek out mentors who can help.
I would advise her to find someone who can act as her mentor, but also to know that she's not alone. There are many young women and men who want to challenge with her.
From challenge comes change. I choose to challenge.
challenge.